Terence Run Boxing. We're here with two-time welterweight champion of the world, Showtime Shawn Porter.
Which one am I looking at?
You can look at this camera.
I'll probably end up looking at you anyway.
So, how you been, man? How you been?
I'm good, man. It was good to see you roll through the backyard the other day. That was cool. Wasn't expecting that, so it was cool to see you. And then I know you were like, let's do something. This was months ago.
Yeah.
So when I saw you, that was the first thing I thought of actually. When I saw you, I was like, man, let me make some time for my man. So this is it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Of course, your name is all over the place in the sport of boxing. Of course, Bud Crawford, Shawn Porter.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I've been saying it for a long time. You are the man that humbles the welterweight division. If they thought that Earl Spence was a head and above shoulders everybody, you humbled it. If it was Keith Thurman, you humbled it. You were the first one to actually win the welterweight title out of this you could say this era.
Was it? Oh yeah.
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 You beat Devin Alexander.
Yeah.
So I mean, and also, you have probably the best resume in the sport of boxing.
Man, listen, you know my dad and you know me for a little while, so you know how we get down, man. We kind of, greatness is kind of like, we don't say, all right, what's great, and then like let's go for it. Like we continuously try to like define greatness ourselves, you know. And so, you know, man, I've had a lot of great moments in the ring. I've had a lot of great fights and been in the ring with some great fighters. And it's like you said, it's funny because when you talk about me humbling the division and humbling certain guys that at one point may have been considered, you know, the elite or above everyone else, and then they get in the ring, and that's kind of been my thing my entire life. You know, you know, if you thought you could run faster than me, I'm about to let's ready, set, go, and I'm gonna show you that you can't. You know what I mean? If you think you can tackle harder than me, and the list goes on from there. You know what I mean? So even in terms of boxing, I would go to tournaments, and then I went to my very first open national tournament in the open division. I went to the nationals, and I drew the returning champion in the semis, and I beat him. Okay. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, that's the guy. He's the guy. Let me get him. You know what I mean? So I've always been like that. So it's you know, it's no thing for me to get in the ring and, you know, put it down like that. Yeah, that 07-08 class was crazy. You know, it was you, and they had you like the small Mike Tyson knocking everybody out, knocking out Jacobs in the amateurs, or Alexander Usyk beating Alexander Usyk. Yeah. Also, you know, with the Charles Hatley, Boo Boo, Thurman. That was the best class. That was the best class. Very good class. Very good class that we had. I think a lot of us, I'm not going to say most, a lot of us
Charlo
became champions.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Practically almost
Charlo
everybody
wasn't with us, but we could replace Charlo with Daniel Jacobs. We could replace Charlo with Boo Boo's is still there with
Crawford,
the belt.
Mikey, you know? Around that time.
Yeah. All those guys, yeah.
So, you know, you still relevant in the sport of boxing, you know. And what's up with Bud Crawford and yourself? What do you think about that matchup, you know?
I love the matchup, man. Somebody just sent me a picture of us next, you know, one of the little poster things or whatever, and I was just like looking at it, smiling. I'm like, damn, I love this fight. I love this fight, you know what I mean? So the business side is working itself out. I tell y'all, like I tell everybody else, like, I found out after y'all, because I'm not on social media. So a lot of times people shoot me stuff, and I'll be like, "Oh, this is what's going on." So y'all most likely know that I'm what's going down before I know. It just is how it goes. But
you found out about the mandatory and the telecast.
I just found out about that. Like, got off a plane and somebody was like, "Yo, did you know about this?" Like, nah, you know what I mean? So I trust my dad. I trust the business gonna handle itself, and man, I'll just be ready to put it down when the time is right.
That's what's up, man. And you're doing this gig. How you feel about doing this gig? We see you everywhere. We see you in Ring City. We see you. You're doing the Olympics. The Olympics was fly, man. It's sad that Keyshawn Davis ain't get the win.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed doing that. My first time doing it, and hopefully not the last. It was really good for me to see that, because that's basically where I come from. I didn't fight in the games in 08, but I was there in China, and I went to the Pan American Games in 07, and I've been through all of the entire amateur system. So like going back, it definitely was that sense of nostalgia. But even beyond that, I felt like I could give the audience something that they may not be, privy to if they're just turning on the fight and watching the fight. So that's kind of where I felt like my where I could come into play in terms of doing that. And then, man, I got on this suit kick years ago, and had all my suits, and then the opportunity came for me to do some things with Fox, and I'm halfway there because I got the suits, you know what I mean? The other side of that is just for me to study a little bit and be ready to talk, you know what I mean? So I love it, man. I really enjoy it, and I look forward to all these opportunities. I get an opportunity actually to call the main event. So, we don't know if this is Manny's last fight, but it just dawned on me while I was out there watching the weigh-in, like, if this is Manny's last fight and this is amazing that how am I the guy that gets to commentate this fight? You know what I mean? So I'm very, very blessed, man. I appreciate it all.
And also, you also supported Manny Pacquiao. You fought Ugas, so you really have. I think you're the right man to actually like talk about this fight and really break it down with good analysis. Briefly, I know you've been breaking this fight down for quite some time. What do you think? How one can neutralize the other? What do you think Manny Pacquiao?
Two things for Ugas. He can neutralize, or try to at least control Manny with his jab. He's got a long jab, and I think that if he keeps a constant jab, I don't think Manny's used to a constant jab coming out. I don't think that could work for him. And then also his body attack. Dennis is a durable guy. He's not going to fall down from one punch. Don't expect him to, at least. Crazier things have happened. But if he's able to endure the offense that Manny has, and he's able to get to Manny's body, he'll break Manny down. On the other side of that, man, Manny's 42 now, so we really don't know. When I was sparring with Manny literally was in his prime. And he's not far from his prime. At 42, it's amazing to say that, but I just think that Manny's got all the experience. He's got all of the training. I mean, A to Z. There's no other A to Z fighter in this world other than Manny Pacquiao. He's done it all, seen it all, been through it all, so on and so forth. So I think if Manny is able to use his experience, he's going to find moments to try to relax. If he's able to if he earns those moments by hurting your Dennis early and making your Dennis fearful to come in, then he'll be able to control the fight, So I think it's up for Manny. It's up to him to use his quick feet, as we always see, his fast hands, as we always see, and land that left hand that vicious left hand that he's got. I see it just like that, in my opinion. Your breakdown with Crawford. Now, a lot of people always say that you outwork your opponents. Everybody knows that. Even when you took those L's, those several L's, everybody's standing on their feet for you. Like, you gain fans because your effort seems like you do set the tone. But then when people break it down, like, why did Shawn Porter lose those fights? Because probably it wasn't as clean as the other guys, the Thurman in the championship rounds, or that when you touch the glove. I don't even call it a knockdown because you just touched the glove in the canvas. So that was more of a balance thing, in my opinion. But and then your last fight versus Formella, it was clean. It was you was boxing. You was using a lot of footwork that I haven't seen in a long time. Trying to step it up every time.
So now, what do you think you need to do for yourself to get this nod versus a guy that's arguably considered as pound for pound number one?
Really at this point, man, I mean, when I say we, I mean the team. We just want this to play itself out, and we want this fight to happen. We don't want to speak too soon. We don't want to, overstep in terms of the business. And so, for the most part, I've just tried my best to stay out of the media when they want to talk about that fight. And for me, man, I've started to look at that fight in my mind, and I really like that fight. You know what I mean? So
how would you like to develop as a fighter? Now you're actually in your peak prime right now. Where your physical ability, intellect is coexisting at the highest level. What do you feel like you need to add into the toolbox to make you a greater and become a 3-time welterweight champion?
I think another thing my dad and I we've been working on is changing the speed and the tempo and the levels of our punches to go from just speed and power and vice versa. You know what I mean? So there's moments in fights where it's just speed. There's other moments in fights where it's just power, and we want to still try to connect those dots and find those little holes where, hey, those are moments where we need the speed. Those are the moments we need the power. Put that in here. Take it to the ring. It's a wrap.
I want to ask you this question about what do you think Jake Paul, the Paul brothers, have? Is there a positive or a negative to the sport of boxing? What
Man, listen, they going back to Cleveland to fight, man.
Hey, that's good. Your hometown.
Man, I've had one fight in Cleveland, been starving to get home to fight, and as told to me, number one, Cleveland's not a boxing town. Number two, economically, we don't know what the money would be like to take a fight there. And then number three, you're an attraction that should be in Vegas. You're an attraction that should be in LA and New York. And it's like, man, my heart wants to fight against that. But the other side of my heart is like, yo, you did everything you needed to do to get there, stay there. You know what I mean? So I'm glad to see somebody taking boxing back home, taking fighting back home.
And you was working. Oh, you was going to work in Triller too with the Teofimo Lopez Cambosa.
Yeah.
You're so all over the place. The voice of boxing, Shawn Porter.
I'm turning into the face of boxing, man.
Okay.
And I'm appreciative, man, and even better than that, man. I'm glad that everybody is appreciating the things that I'm doing and accepting the things that I'm doing. I know a lot of times people would say, oh, he's not focused on boxing. Oh, he's retired. Oh, this and that. And it's just like people are appreciating what I'm doing outside of the ring, and they're like, all right, when you getting back in the ring? All right, cool. I'm ready, man. We ready. And I'm like, all right, well, it's coming soon. It's coming soon. So it's all good.
That's good, man. I appreciate you, Shawn.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, man. We want you to get that Bud fight.
Yeah.
Do what you do. We already know that it's going to be an exciting fight. You make every fight exciting.
Yes, sir.
And good luck on that, man.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Man.